Chapter 1. I really don't want to be a treasure. Get on the ventilator again. You have to persist. You must hold on. This was in the first grade ward in Wuhan. Rand Shaosher had been holding on for more than 30 days, and he really couldn't hold on anymore. Thank you to the party and the people for saving me, and thank you to the most respected people's doctors and nurses for their treatment. I really can't stand it anymore. Your kindness can only be repaid in the next life. Rand Shaosher felt that his soul was floating and escaping, and he was rising slowly. I heard scientists experiment. People have souls. It seems to be true. I really saw everything. Goodbye to my relatives. Goodbye to my motherland. Damn epidemic. I hate you so much. Then Rand Shaosher felt that the beautiful scenery in front of him was becoming blurry, and then he didn't know anything anymore. Rongguofu in Beijing. Rand Shaosher woke up leisurely, looked up and saw antique furniture and elegant and rich golden decorations everywhere, and was a little confused. Is this paradise? When I was a soldier, I was a rare soldier. After I retired and returned to my hometown to open a company, I paid taxes to the country and supported so many people. I am a good person, and good deeds are rewarded. It seems that I have gone to heaven after my death. Thank you. When Rand Shaosher was in his thoughts, he heard the sweet sound of jade pendants jingling together. Baoyu is awake, finally awake. The master is waiting for you to go to the study. A bright face appeared in front of Rand Shaosher. Who are you? The soft little hand touched his forehead, and the coolness was very comfortable. He touched it gently with his slender hand, and Rand Shaosher had the urge to take a bite. The little woman seemed to only understand the previous sentence. Smiling slightly, he said, Baoyu, are you confused by the fever? I am a Shirin. Didn't you change my name for me? Flowers that attack people know how warm the day is. You told me this illusion. You are Shiren. Are there also Shiyu and Qingwen? They are watering the flowers outside. They will come in soon. Are you really an attacker? Yes, it seems that you are suffering from hysteria again. If you continue like this, how can you get it? Then who am I? Of course you are Baoyu, the second son of Jiao Mansion. You are as good as you are. Shiren helped Rand Shaosher put on his clothes, feeling angry and funny. It seemed that his little master was confused by his sleep. However, the little master has been staring blankly recently, and he doesn't know what's going on. Shiren's soft little hand made Rand Xiaosher's heart move, so he grabbed it and held it in his arms. Which dynasty is this in? How did I become Baoyu? Shiren knew that Baoyu had always been stupid, so he didn't care too much. But this was the first time that he held his hands tightly in his arms like this, and he couldn't help but blush. This blush means that the crab apples are blooming. Oh my God, why do you look so good looking? Who do you look like? Who do you look like? Let me think about it. Let me think about it. Oh, now that I think about it, you look so much like Zhao Xiaoying, one of my favorite actors. So similar. Zhao Xianying, I haven't heard of him, and I'm talking nonsense again. Shiren felt that not only was Baoyu behaving strangely today, but his tone and tone of speech were also different from before. Of course, if this is the Jia Mansion or the Jia Mansion of the Qing Dynasty, then you have never heard of it. Shiren gently pulled away his little hand and said softly, You don't shy away from suspicion. The one who is 1 year old and 2 years old is already 10 years old this year. The slightly angry tone made Rand Xiaosher's bones soften. Is this really the Jia family, and have I really become Baoyu? No way. Isn't Baoyu a character in Dream of Red Mansions? How could he be in the Qing Dynasty? Also, I hate Baoyu the most. There are dozens of TV series about Dream of Red Mansions. When I see Baoyu, I want to beat him to death. He is just a bitch, and he is always fooling around in the boudoir. Oh my God, have I time traveled into this immortal Baoyu? Others like an NB Baoyu, but I don't want to be Baoyu even if I die. If you let a special forces king be Baoyu, and if you let a talented and resourceful internet CEO be Baoyu, wouldn't this make me angry and frustrated to death? Rand Shaosher was daydreaming while waiting for Shirin to adjust his clothes. Mingyan, where's Mingyan? The fake Baoyu suddenly shouted. Shirin bent down and put on his boots and chuckled. Mingyan is at the second door. Baoyu, you are confused again. Mingyan can only be at the second door. Stop being in a daze. After a while, the master will be angry again and will slap you. This is Beijing? This is the Jia Mansion? How could there be a Jia Mansion in the Qing Dynasty? You are confused again. The Jia family followed the emperor into the country, mainly for intelligence and assassination matters, so they will not appear on the surface. In fact, they are the emperor's confidants, so they are very low-key. Even if they are named dukes, only a few banner nobles know that the Jia family is not an ordinary mansion. Are you a maid or... While I was waiting on you, I overheard the conversation between the master and my husband outside. What happened to you today? What you said did not match what you said. As he spoke, Shirin put his soft hand on the fake Baoyu's palm and scratched it lightly with his nails, smiling charmingly. It seems that it is written in the book that Shirin and Baoyu have an affair. It is true. I don't know what extent this affair is, but it seems that this little girl is still a virgin. Based on my many years of experience, this affair is really not deep. She is such a lovely girl. Rand Shaosher thought about Shirin and couldn't help but think of Dayu and Bao Chai, the two great beauties of the god level. Are there any Jinling 12 hairpins here? Maybe it's really good. At least it's much better than traveling through time to Wu Dawang. But this turtle grandson is really too girly and makes me hate him so much. Since I am Baoyu now, I am Jia Baoyu. I hate Baoyu, so I will transform Baoyu and make him a character. Rand Shaosher stood there blankly, and no one disturbed him. Anyway, second young master Jia was used to having dementia. After waking up from dementia, I saw a leather bag placed on the 8 Immortals table beside me. It turned out to be the laptop I often brought. He pounced at once. Why are you here? Baoyu, have you forgotten again? When you came back last night, you said that you picked up a fairy weapon on the road, which is similar to your psychic treasure. It turned out to be such a dark thing, and the maids laughed at it all night. Could it be that my things came here before I could travel through time? Is this arranged by God? It's God's greatest arrangement. Haha, I am the most awesome Special Forces King. I am an awesome CEO. And when I come to the Qing Dynasty, I also want to be the most awesome Jia Baoyu. I have just finished writing the entire history of the Qing Dynasty, the encyclopedia, and the governance of the country. I was sent here. It seems to be really arranged by God. At this moment, Shiyu hurriedly ran in, nagging. It's over, Baoyu. The master is angry and said that you are an hour late and you will definitely be beaten today. I have prepared the big board. It's over. Let's see how I resolve it. Jia Baoyu walked out in high spirits, leaving the two beauties looking at each other. Today's Baoyu is really different. Chapter 2. Solve military and national affairs as soon as possible. Jia Baoyu, Rand Shaosher, walked out of the second door, looked up and saw his 4 children laughing and playing in the yard. After taking a closer look, I was stunned. Aren't these 4 guys, Mingyan, Ho Yao, and others the most popular boy group in the future? Plus Hile? Aren't these all acquaintances? Have I traveled through time or not? I pinched myself hard, and it hurt. It doesn't look like he's dreaming. Seeing Baoyu coming out, Mingyan trotted over quickly. Second master, this is the grasshopper cage you asked for. I just made it for you. Looking at his bright and youthful smile, Baoyu almost shouted, "What the source?" She took the grasshopper cage from Mingyan's hand and threw it on the ground without even looking at it. Don't give me these gully things in the future. Men should be serious about wielding swords and guns. After speaking, he walked forward with his head held high. The 4 servants, Mingyan, Hu Yao, and others, were shocked and quickly followed. Could it be that young Master Jair, known as the #1 dandy in Rongwa Mansion, has changed his gender? Since it's time for me to be Jia Baoyu, you can at least leave me some memories of the real Baoyu. I don't even know what my father looks like. I must not make a mistake. If I make a mistake about my father, I'm afraid it will become another joke of the Jia family. Baoyu walked forward quickly and thought. When I arrived at the door of the study, I slowed down my pace, straightened my robe, and touched the bald part of my head. This was a typical Qing Dynasty hairstyle. I couldn't help feeling that I might not have the chance to have a handsome middle parting. Standing at the door of the study were two middle-aged men, dressed as domestic slaves. No one knew who they were. He didn't bother to ask, so he let them misunderstand that he was scared out of his wits because his father was going to take the exam. Under the leadership of the two slaves, Baoyu pretended to walk into the study step by step. The first idea is that there are many books and weapons in the study. There are axes, knives, forks, whips, spears, swords, and halberds. This is very different from what is written in the book and what is shown in the TV series Dream of Red Mansions. Behind the screen, a muscular man in purple robe was chatting with a group of people. Seeing Baoyu slowly walking in, the purple-robed man glared and said in a deep voice, "You still know how to come here." Baoyu knew that this was his father Jiazheng. Taking a closer look, the big man has a majestic appearance and a charming temperament. I can't help but be shocked again. Isn't this Chen Shigua, the great movie king of later generations? How come he has also traveled through time? While he was in a daze, Jia Jingyu said in a deep voice, "Stand aside and see if I expose you after we finish talking." I had to stand still. After listening for a long time, it turned out that they were talking about war and the secret transmission of secret documents, which is my brother's strength. The one sitting on the far left is Mr. Qi Qiangqi, the deputy capital commander of the Tianwei camp, the newly built fine work organization of the current Little Emperor. Based on their conversation just now, Baoyu knew that although his father was in charge of fine work affairs, it was this deputy chief general who really handled the affairs. He has a dark face and no fat on his body. The muscles all over his body are rolling like a big rat in his robe, as if they are about to burst. His palms are covered with calluses. At first glance, he is a member of the same profession. Baoyu suddenly developed an unprecedented favorable impression of Lord Qi Dudong. "Sir, I have tried many methods to pass the secret message, but it has still been broken. This is a matter of life and death." Mr. Qi is already very helpless. This is the third time this year's secret document has been broken. The little emperor has issued an imperial edict and must solve it before the new year. Mr. Qi has had several big bubbles in his mouth in the past 2 days. Your Majesty has been alarmed, and if you don't solve the problem, you will lose your head. Baoyu glanced at the big ruler in front of his father's seat and thought about being beaten soon. Suddenly, his heart moved and he thought of a way to avoid being beaten. Said, "This is not easy to solve. It takes a little effort." Jia Zhengbao's eyes widened and he scolded, "This is a major military and state matter. A child's house, what do you know?" Mr. Qi immediately grabbed a life-saving straw and said, "Sir, don't worry. Maybe we are from a young family, but we have inherited the virtues of our ancestors, are smart at heart, and have good strategies." Baoyu curled his lips in his heart. "Your hair and beard are almost half gray. You have the nerve to call me Xixiang. It's true." Seeing that his father wanted to stop him, Baoyu quickly said, "Father, if the child solves this matter, can he be spared a beating?" Jia Zheng had always disliked Baoyu's submissive attitude before, kicking 3 feet in front of him and not even daring to say a fart. But now he was stunned when he saw his son speaking clearly and with a natural demeanor. "Whether you want to be beaten or not, just tell me and let me decide." Seeing this, he agreed. Baoyu picked up 2 identical ancient books from the bookcase, pulled Qichang up and ran to the corridor outside. I muttered in the corridor for a long time before letting everyone out. Mr. Qichang had swept away his previous decadence and became refreshed. Watching him walk out, Baoyu, Ran Shaosher, looked bored. It was just a few Arabic numerals, and he had to teach him for an hour. He couldn't even mark the page numbers in the book. He was really convinced. Entering the study again, Mr. Chi Chong said, "Sir, please tell me, what secrets do you need to pass on? And I guarantee it will be foolproof." It seems that Mr. Chi has really found a good strategy. You'll know it's good or bad after you try it. Jiazheng wrote a few small letters, folded them, and handed them over. Master Chi looked at it while flipping through the ancient book. After a while, he wrote a bunch of crooked words on another piece of paper, like ghostly peach charms, and then showed it in front of everyone, but they all said they didn't recognize it at all. Master Chi then smiled slightly and said that you should be sent to Brother Jia Shi and Ling Feng. After a while, a note came back. Your Majesty is anxious. Please resolve the matter quickly. These words were clearly placed in front of Jiazheng. These were the words Jiazheng wrote just now. Everyone was dumbfounded. It was indeed written by Mr. Chi under everyone's close supervision. How could a few ghosts draw peach charms to accurately convey the message to his son? Tried a few more times, still the same. Then I exchanged Baoyu and Master Chi and tried again, and the same effect appeared. I never thought that such a big thing could be solved by a young child. After testing it for more than 10 times, Jiazheng was convinced and asked, "What exactly is this?" Mr. Chi looked troubled and said, "Your Majesty said that if this method is to be kept secret, the less people know about it, the better. This is what I mean." Jiazheng was a little sullen first, but when he thought that Baoyu was his son, and this method was taught by his son, wasn't it from the Jia family? After thinking about this, Jiazheng was no longer angry. It seemed that his unsatisfactory son still had some use. Okay, as long as it is solved, it will be a blessing for our Qing Dynasty and the Emperor's grace. Baoyu, who walked in from outside the door, was depressed again. I'm afraid this had nothing to do with the Emperor's grace. But that's what this dynasty has to say. Seeing Mr. Chi Chong getting up to leave, Baoyu said, "Sir Chi, I have worked so hard to help you solve such a big matter. Shouldn't your Tianwei camp give me a bonus?" Bonus. It's just silver. I just found a booklet on the bookshelf in Langfang. According to the decree of the current little emperor, anyone who has contributed to the Qing Dynasty will be rewarded with a sum of silver. Did I solve a big problem for you? It should be right. I will report it to the emperor now. The reward will be very generous. Ignorant boy, what do you know? What reward do you want? Serving the emperor. This is what you should do. Brother Shi, I would like Cheer to become your disciple and learn your Dachang fist. I will definitely accept this disciple. I will definitely accept him. Then choose an auspicious day, and I will let the child come to your door to become a disciple. Mr. Chi Chong left with many thanks. On the way back, after seeing the adults out of the house, Baoyu was still thinking as he walked. According to the new laws of the little emperor, the reward for this kind of thing should be 100 taels of silver. This is the first money I made in the Qing Dynasty. Following his father into the study, Baoyu was looking at his beauty when he saw his father pick up the ruler and slap it on the case hard. Kneel down. You actually dare to ask for money. It's completely insulting to gentlemen. I'll take the essay test later, and you can't answer it. I think you're going to get a beating. Chapter 3, Stealing Poems, Avoids Being Beaten. Baoyu, Ran Shaoshi, was dumbfounded. I originally wanted to come to the Qing Dynasty to make my first fortune, but I forgot that the Jia Mansion was the home of poetry, calligraphy, and etiquette, and it was shameful to talk about money. It seems that this meal must be hit hard. If it's mathematics, physics, and chemistry, I can still deal with it. It's the one I hate the most in my life. But this is the Qing Dynasty. The first few generations of emperors in the Qing Dynasty paid the most attention to writing and learning. Now I have no way to cry every day, and I have no way to cry. Baoyu, Ran Shaoshi, screamed countless times in his heart. Those sturdy guests left. They were all members of the military system, and some of them were 8 banners generals. No wonder they looked as thick as the top and bottom. They are all born as military commanders, so it is appropriate to be thicker, especially in ancient times. This wave of people is gone, and another wave will be replaced. It seems that my father is quite busy, and I don't know what kind of official his father is. According to the ranks of the Qing Dynasty, Lord Qi, who left just now, is the deputy capital commander, and the deputy capital commander was a second rank official who was as big as the chief soldier. According to this, if my father is a full level official, he should be a first rank official. No wonder it is so majestic, especially a supervisory agency like the Tianwei camp that is both a spy agency and a secret investigation agency. It seems that I, Baoyu, am truly a powerful second generation official. This group of people were all Chinka raised by the Jia family. Jia Zheng looked much more relaxed when he put on casual cloth clothes. The dozen or so Chingu people all looked thin. It was already late autumn, and they still held paper fans in their hands. Hey, you're a literate person who is sour and jealous. No matter what dynasty you are in, you have to put up a pause. I am really impressed by you. When they met one by one, Baoyu, Ran Shaosher, could only endure it. Seeing that Baoyu was a little embarrassed, a Chinka named Zhang Guang actually said, "Yesterday, I met the second master's Do Fong, who looked like a master of calligraphy, which shows that his family knowledge is profound. At first glance, it seems that he is flattering his father." Jiajing said, "As for the handwriting, I can barely read it, and it still looks immature. But writing is the right path. The college entrance examination does not mean who can write well will be the top scholar. I heard that the current young emperor is quite accomplished in poetry. I don't think he will be selected for poetry in the coming year. Speaking of poetry, I copied a good poem outside, which can be said to be wonderful. If life can only be the same as before. See, why is the autumn wind so sad? It's so easy to change the old man's heart, but the old man's heart can change in the middle of the night. How can I be so lucky to have a beautiful man with a pair of branches?" Although Baoyu, Ran Shaosher, doesn't like to read classical Chinese, in order to prepare for the college entrance examination, he memorized some famous poems. It happened that he had learned a few poems by Nalen Rongrua, especially the song Magnolia Ancient Jueju, which he knew by heart, and another one was Sauvignon Blanc. Could it be that this famous poet from the Qing Dynasty appeared just like this? Baoyu quickly asked, "Is Uncle Jean talking about Master Mingju's eldest son, Nalen Rongrua? Is there any relationship between the second young master and young Master Nalen?" "The old one is second best. He is just a young man, but he likes this kind of gloomy and resentful words. He is melancholy and sinks in his heart. I am afraid he will not live long." In fact, Nalen Rongrua, a peerless poet in the Qing Dynasty, did die of illness in the 24th year of Kangxi. He was only 30 years old. Baoyu Ran Shaosher felt that it was awkward to speak like this. He still liked to be with those rough generals, and he talked much more cheerfully. "I heard that in addition to his exquisite poems, Mr. Nalen also has tragic love stories, joys and sorrows, and I don't know which of the three women he is currently dating. If the guess is correct, his cousin should have left him and entered the palace. At this time, he was in love with Lu Shirling, or did Lu Shir also pass away?" Seeing Baoyu talking like this, Jia Zheng glared at him and said nothing. Jia Zheng then had a profound family education and high attainments in medicine. He knew that there was indeed a saying in this regard, so he acquiesced if he did not scold him. Seeing that everyone was silent, Baoyu simply said in his heart, "Brother Rongrua, I'm sorry. In order to avoid being beaten, I have to borrow your excellent lyrics." Li Bai, the great poet of the Tang Dynasty, said that Sauvignon Blanc is heartbreaking. "I was deeply inspired by Rongrua's poem, and I also wrote a poem, A Journey of Mountains, a Journey of Water. Walking towards the bank of Yuguan, 1,000 tents of lights in the depths of night, a watch of wind, a watch of snow, shattering the heart of my hometown. Dreams cannot come true, and there is no such sound in my hometown." As soon as Baoyu finished speaking, there was a burst of applause. Zhang Guang simply stood up and applauded while saying, "I didn't expect that the second young master is so smart and beautiful. He spits out lotus flowers from his mouth." He has such a good saying as mountains are changing, water is changing, and wind is changing, snow is changing. This is enough to surpass others. It seems that you and young Master Rongrua are definitely two extraordinary talents in the world of poetry. This time, even Jiazheng, who had always been serious, smiled and nodded in approval. Originally, "chi pa" was a word of praise and compliment, but Baoyu, Ranshaosher, sounded unhappy because in later generations, "chi pa" was almost like a curse. I once again say sorry to Nayland Rongrua in my heart because this song, Sauvignon Blanc, was his masterpiece more than 10 years ago, and now I asked Baoyu, Ranshaosher, to take it out and use it. When he started talking, seeing that his father was happy, Baoyu ignored it and simply stole it to the end shamelessly. Actually, this kind of words are just sentimental expressions. I will write a poem with backbone. I will not let go of the green mountains, and my roots will be in the broken rocks. I will be strong despite the east, west, south, and north winds. After I finished speaking, I paused vigorously, closed my eyes, and said, "I'm sorry hundreds of times to Mr. Zheng Banqiao in my heart. I stole your wonderful poem again." There should be applause here. Baoyu Ranshaosher didn't know what was going on. He quickly opened his eyes and saw his father with a dark face and said nothing. Everyone was looking at him blankly, and he made a very disgusting gesture of pointing his right index finger to the sky. What went wrong? What went wrong? Baoyu Ranshaosher quickly thought about it and suddenly remembered that he had forgotten in his excitement that Zheng Banqiao should be a famous poet at this moment. His poems must have been liked by everyone and must have been widely circulated, and this poem must be no exception. Thinking of this, I broke into cold sweat. This time it's really embarrassing. Offending your father is no joke, and a beating is inevitable. The problem is, how can Baoyu, a little girl with her body, bear it now? It really hit Baoyu's body, and the pain burned Xiaosher's heart. Fortunately, I became a businessman in later generations and learned to be quick-witted. He said with a smile, "Look, everyone, this poem by Mr. Zheng Banqiao has an ancient style, and I will let the younger one rewrite it with my current mentality. When the day is not around, youth comes naturally. The moss flowers are as small as rice, and they also bloom like peonies. Uncles and uncles. What do you think of this poem?" This is a short poem that will be written by the great Qing Dynasty poet Yuan Mei decades later. Baoyu Ranshaosher was borrowed again. Now that I am a little person, this kind of poem is most suitable. I immediately remembered the bursts of applause again. Well, I finally got to see the poetic talent of the second young master. What a wonderful line. Moss flowers are as small as rice, and they also bloom like peonies. How wonderful. I didn't expect that the second young master's family education is so profound. It is only Mr. Baoyu who can write such a wonderful poem. Baoyu Ranshaosher cursed in his heart. Fortunately, I have quick reaction. Otherwise, the boat would really capsize today. At this time, Jiazheng spoke. It's a bit poetic, but the pattern is a bit small. As soon as he heard this, Baoyu Ranshaosher didn't like it. He waved his hand and said, "There is another song. This time the pattern is big and majestic. The scenery of the northern country is covered with thousands of miles of ice and thousands of miles of snow. Looking inside and outside the Great Wall, there is nothing but vastness. The rivers up and down suddenly lose their turbulence. The silver snakes dance in the mountains, and the original wax elephants want to be with the God of heaven. Try to compare. On a sunny day, you can see that the country is so beautiful. So many heroes are attracted by it. The emperor of Qing and Han Dynasty are slightly less talented in literature. The genius of the Tang Dynasty, Genghis Khan, only knows how to shoot big eagles. There are many romantic figures in the world. This is a beautiful poem that later generations often recite. It is the masterpiece of a great man among great men. Its momentum and pattern are unprecedented in all aspects." Baoyu Ranshaosher once again said sorry countless times in his heart. Everyone present was shocked. Everyone stood up one after another. Only those who are standing can listen to such poems. Is this a beautiful poem that a 10-year-old child can write? Absolutely no one will believe it. But with this Sauvignon Blanc and moss as the background, they couldn't help but not believe it. Seeing his father nodding frequently, Baoyu knew that he had finally passed this test.